Here's a moment where I thought to myself, what's the most awkward thing I could do to start this off here? I'm gonna sit in this rig that's not connected to anything. It's just literally a rig with some equipment on it, and we're gonna do an unboxing. The SIMAGIC Q1S. Yup. Always nice packaging from SIMAGIC. Okay. Nice dense foam. Now, before I go any further, this video was made possible by simracingpros.com. They have the cheapest prices and the quickest shipping for SIMAGIC stuff. No joke. And they have awesome customer service. You got yourself a warranty card. You got yourself some tools and some hardware, T-nuts and such. You got yourself a cable. What is this? A magical knob. The stubby, the lightweight boy, and of course, the coupe de gras, or is it the coup de gras? I don't know. The little baby Q1S. Now, at first glance, it may not look that much smaller. We got our little adjustment here. We got the USB port. Looks like a phone jack type port. Got the little bearings on the side still, and you notice it's more sealed off. Like there's no holes on the sides, there's no holes on the front and the back. It's a more sealed unit. And you also notice, what is this? This is a neutral button. So no more like, you know, if you're in 6th gear and you crash or whatever, you spin out, no more like, bap, 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 bap. Push the button, you're neutral, back in first. Boom. Let me add something. The chopping block. It is shorter. It is the same width, by about an inch. Like, so the body's smaller, everything about it is smaller. I don't know if it feels the same. I don't know if the mechanism inside is the same. We're gonna find out in a moment. No longer are there 2 USB ports. I kind of like that about the first one. If you're not familiar with the first one, this one is $430, and I believe this one's going for $250. So it's a considerable price cut because they're not including all the extra electronics. They're not including the 4 buttons on top here that are programmable, and also you can change the color of the lights, and you can also have a shift indicator on top here. If it's mounted properly, you can see all the gears and it's pretty convenient. But how I have it mounted was kind of like this, so it's kind of backwards for me, so it wasn't too helpful. This one is highly adjustable, insane shifter feel. I'm not joking here. Like, this is one of my favorite pieces of gear on my rig. It feels so good. I have it set pretty low right now so I can actuate it without it being mounted, but you can get it to where it takes some serious force to engage the gears. But yeah, there's a lot of extra things going on that might not necessarily be essential to the function of the shifter. So let's see what we got here in terms of adjustability. So we're gonna open up our little toolkit here. Oh, it's magic. Let's actually move this. This thing's getting annoying. It's no longer on the chopping block. Let's unscrew it all the way. It's still a pinball. It's still a nylon ball here that's making everything happen, and a pretty beefy little spring right here. Honestly, even without it, it still has some sensation. So actually, if you want to quiet your unit down, you know, that was actually a complaint from the first version of this shifter, the larger brother, that it was so loud. Like this one, even if you take this out entirely, you have a little bit of sensation. It's not like awesome. That's usable. That still feels better than most sequential shifters without anything, right? But let's pop this back in and see what kind of maximum torque we have on the unit. Maximum performance. Let's go max until we can't go anymore. Okay, it's locked up, that's good. That means we can go to its full power. So back it off a little bit. Okay, still don't have quite enough. Okay, let's see what it feels like with the shift knob. Wow, that feels really good actually. This is actually max pressure, and it doesn't feel like it's anywhere near as much as its bigger brother. It's one of those things like where it's nice to have the extra headroom, but like with a DD1, when are you ever gonna use 20 Newton meters? For the most part, you don't need that 20 Newton meters. And for the most part, you don't need the extra, 300 pounds of force on the shifter. There is a little bit back and forth, but there's no play side to side. back and forth is normal because you need to have some gap, you know, some kind of gap in between the parts so they don't bind up. You know, they can't be just right next to each other because it has to reset. So that's normal. Let's see if I set it at max on the V1. Okay, can't pull it back. Yeah, it's considerable amount more force, but listen to how loud it is. Now let's listen to this one. Considerably quieter. It feels like it's slightly dampened as well. Let's take this top plate off and see if we can see inside there. Okay, it seems like there's maybe a little bit of thread locker on there because it kind of pops. Pop, pop, pop. It goes pop, pop, pop. You smell the popcorn, Georgie? I'm interested to see if it's a similar mechanism or it's shrunk down or if it's just like a totally different one. Because I'm a huge fan of the mechanism on the first Big Boy version. Okay, so looking inside, it is actually a similar mechanism. Good job, SIMAGIC. So here's something of great importance to some of you. You cannot flip this handle around. Looking at the electronics, unless you milled out a section of the handle here, it does not look like you could actually do that. That's very unfortunate. I will say that there's something sexy about the first one, but if you don't need all that fancy hoopla, much cheaper. I play rally games primarily and games that can be modded into rally games, such as BeamNG, Assetto Corsa and whatnot. So I'm not gonna have the biggest test pool, that almost sounds like cesspool, test pool of games. So you'll also notice before I walk away that the USB is set to this direction because it's intended to be used like this. So here we go. Oh, and one more thing. This is actually significantly lighter. Like just based on the feel from one unit to the next, this feels, it's probably not, but it feels almost twice as heavy as this one. So if you're a motion rig user like me and lightweight is good, here's your winner. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention, the mounting. If you notice, there's approximately 300,000 mounting options on the base here. You can thread directly into the base in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 locations. Then you have 2 center points here, one on each side. If you want to mount in a single slot, you can do that. Then you have 2 slotted sections here on both the top and the bottom. You got some options here. And it's the same on the big one here, except there's even more. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12. Good job for not limiting the product mounting wise. Oh, and one more, I'm just joking. Welcome aboard, folks. Now the first thing I notice, no annoying lights. Now it's nice as a spectator, but it's not so nice as the user when you don't need those lights. You know, if you're not using the shift indicator, if you're not using the button colors to define the buttons, if you're just doing it by feel, those lights can be annoying on the Big Boy. There's a light inside of here, but you can't see it. It's not visible unless, you know, it's pitch black. I have it set for maximum tension here, and again, it's less than the first one. Also, something I noticed, unfortunately, there are micro switches, but it is a proven technology and they have been known to last a long time if they're placed appropriately and they're not in too high stress of a situation. So time will tell if these will last. But again, we do appreciate this SIMAGIC for bringing this level of performance to this price point. They had to make some compromises, and that was one of them. I do prefer the loud clackiness of the Big Boy. Now, it's not something you'd want to have in the house. If there are other people in the house or other people where you are, it'll get annoying real damn quick. This one will get annoying much less quickly. I think the biggest determining factor why you would choose this one over the Big Boy is being able to go to neutral, or you just want another button that's close to your hand. You could just, you know, you could put windshield wipers right there if you want. You could say like, okay, this is gonna get in the way. I'm gonna actually go into neutral. We're gonna try it out here. If it happens to me, I will let you know. We'll see. Let's get into a game here. If you're a rally enthusiast, Richard Burns Rally is where you want to be. No question. So we're not going to focus on my face. As much as I like my face and as much as I like showing my face off, I think what's important here is to show the action of this wonderful, wonderful shifter. If you want to see my mug, let me know. But it's too late now, the video is made. You're watching it right now. I cannot make changes. Actually, I probably could, but that would mean I have to delete this video. And I'm not going to do that probably. SIMAGIC Q2. It's called the Q2 in the software. I'm going to refer to this as the Q2 from now on because I really like that, Q2. Maybe we will endearingly call it the Q-tip. Boom, it looks like a Q-tip. It's smaller, so it's kind of like a Q-tip instead of like a, like a Schwab. If you're like a pirate and you're schwabbing out something, it's not like that. It's like a Q-tip. It's, it's a little tiny thing that you're cleaning your ear out with. Oh no, I crashed. Or actually I didn't crash, but I spun out. So in the last version, you'd have to map a button right here and then push it, which is not a huge deal, but it feels unnatural. Or you could just bam, 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 bam. Go all the way to reverse and then one up for neutral, start the car, get in the first. It's a lot of process. Now, I don't even know what gear I'm in right now, but boom. Okay, so we should be in neutral, so I should be able to start it. There we go. Once, back on it. Okay, you might be asking yourself now, Douglas, does it feel like you're gonna accidentally hit that neutral button? And I'm gonna answer right now. No, it does not. The only time I even feel it is when I go to downshift and I kind of hover my pinky over it. That could be just me. I don't know, but I hover my pinky over it when I downshift. So let's see how much travel it takes before it actually clicks. Okay, about halfway. Meet me halfway. So if I grab it haphazardly, I can accidentally engage neutral. So this is gonna take muscle memory and proper positioning. Obviously, I would much rather have this angled more upward, so this is out of the way, but unfortunately, because my rig is set up how it is, I have a little bit less room to work with. So I can correct this by creating an extension here, but I'm gonna work with it like it is. Now, if you had this flipped the other way, I do believe that you would accidentally press this with your palm. Now, I mean, if you wanted to, you could shave it down to where it's like all the way flush up against this and make it towards a non-issue, but you could still engage it with your pinky if you had to, or your whole hand. I don't know, however you want to do it. You could do that. You could cut it off. It's not a huge deal. It's aluminum, very easy to cut, very easy to file down. But if you don't want to deal with it and you want to just run it how it is, I don't think it's going to be a problem for most people. Now, if you're super worried about pressing this button right here, you do have an option to get the long shaft that comes out to about here, and then you can totally avoid that whole thing. But it does come with a short here. You probably do have an option to get the long shift knob, when you purchase it, but this was sent to me for review purposes, so they didn't really give me an option. But yeah, I'm sure you could do that. It's the same thread pattern as the last one, so pop it out, pop the long boy on, and you're good to go. Does it feel better than the Q1? No, it does not. It does not feel better action-wise. It feels different. I would say it still has a very satisfying feel, and I think this is the second best sequential shifter I've ever felt. Third would be the SHH, so this is the second best, and the price is much cheaper. So price to performance ratio, currently, this is the best I've felt. I'm gonna say that. I don't like that it has micro switches. That does kind of bother me in the back of my mind. But again, if they're placed appropriately, I don't think it'd be a problem. I don't like that there's not as much adjustment. I like that they've simplified it and miniaturized it. It's the same mechanism pretty much. It has a smaller footprint. It's smaller height-wise, so you can fit it in more places. It has almost just as many mounting options. It really is a great offering from SIMAGIC, and I love the price point. $250 is reasonable for a high-quality piece of gear like this. I'm very thankful that simracingpros.com chose me to send this unit out and get a review on it. They have great customer service, great communication, and they have awesome shipping options because they have warehouses here in North America. Thank you, SIMAGIC, and thank you, simracingpros.com for this opportunity. So my final verdict is I can highly recommend this unit. It's a great price point, great quality, great options. It feels amazing. But if you already have a Q1, do I think you should sell your Q1 and buy this? No. Not unless this button right here is a deal maker. Not a deal breaker, but a deal maker. If this button right here is a deal maker, I can recommend it all day. Have a good day. Thank you all for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. Toothpaste dispenser. You know, you can set a button for that. Gorilla back scratcher. There's a button for that in BeamNG.